So this is a recording of the dive I took in Monterey and wanted to record what the dive was like. First off, my camera that is mounted to my lens is on the left-hand side, and my nerd is also on the left-hand side, so a majority of this video has the nerd blocking the visibility. So I've set my computer to show the nerd on the right side to maximize the things seen in this video. So as you can see, as we are heading down, we get to about 10 meters to do our bubble check. And there I go to see my dive buddy, and went just a bit below the 10-meter mark. Took a look at him and signaled that I'm ready to go down. I think he signaled that I was good for bubbles also. I don't remember that. He actually went and checked with the other diver to ensure that they were okay, and we start heading down. And as you can see from the dive profile, we go down to about 165 meters, or about 165 feet, or about 165 feet or 50 meters. And in watching this video, there are a series of things that I could have done differently, and so I'll point these out primarily as a lesson for me to become a better diver. Maybe those who watch this might learn a thing or two, or might congratulate themselves for being a better diver than me. So as I am going down the anchor line, or the shot line, the water is generally 10 degrees, or about 50, 52, 53 degrees Fahrenheit. And part of my setup is I clip my torch onto my computer bungee and then hold it. It seems to hold it pretty firmly. And as you can tell, I am getting to the change of the shot line to the anchor chain, and I am adjusting my buoyancy so that I am not going to the actual bottom, the ocean floor, and turn on my light. Now, the role, or my diving role, will be to run the reel out, and our dive plan is to be coming back up at 20 minutes. So I look at my dive buddy, there he is, and I wanted to signal that I needed a reel. My reel has lost its knob to turn, so I asked my dive buddy to use his reel. So he gives that to me, and then he signals that his wrist is broken, and I'm not quite sure what that meant. but then he signals, go ahead and you be dive buddies. You two be dive buddies. And I'm good. What he really meant was that he had in his wrist seal, there was a leak, and so he was gonna abort his portion of the dive so that he didn't have decompression obligations. So I attached the reel to the shot line, and start my dive away from the line, checking to make sure my dive buddy's with me. And as you can tell, the reel line isn't taut, which could be better. This reel is kind of unfamiliar to me, so it takes me a little bit to get everything situated. And I don't really look ahead to see where I'm going or if there's any structure, to see anything cool. My goal at this time was just to go out and come back. So I just followed the shot line. I figured if the line is going this way, then I would be swimming into the current if there is any current, and then on the way back it'll be an easier dive. And right there, I just changed my set point from 0.7 to 1.3. The computer setting that you're reading isn't quite accurate. The calibration for each of the individual cells, the conversion from millivolts to the bars, isn't stored in the dive logs. So what I have done is taken the first setting, the first line in the log as the calibration setting, and so it's not quite accurate, but it gives a general understanding of what my cells are, what my PO2 is at. It tends to be a little lower than 1.3, but as you can tell, I am running higher than 0.7 now. And although you can't see it, on my right arm is extended and deploying the reel line. I'm not moving too fast as I don't see the light of my dive buddy, so I want to stay slow until either he is looking around or I see him, and there I turn around to confirm that he is behind me there, and I see his light below me. And we continue going out. The other mistake that I make is I do not change my backup computer's set point. So if you'll notice, you'll see it set to 0.7 still. So that should be better. At this point, it seemed to be getting caught, and I think what happened is the screw that holds it in place tightened up. And for some reason, my dive buddy came underneath me. I don't know what he was looking at or looking for. And so as I was changing my set point on my backup computer here, all of a sudden he's underneath me. And I'm still kind of messing with the reel, or it was offering some resistance. And so I just changed my set point to 1.3 on my backup computer. And we're going to continue on. And all of a sudden this became resistant. I thought it had caught on something, so I go to pull it out. I think what ended up happening is that screw tightened down. So I loosen it up, it feels better. So we'll continue on. And as you can tell, there's not much life, not a lot of structure in the direction that I'm heading. And the camera is recording a very green water. To me, I don't remember it being this green. I'm not sure if it is the camera settings or what, but visibility wasn't too bad. Probably 20 meters, or 10 to 20 meters, or 30 to 60 feet. It was pretty good. And about minute 11, I'm ready to go back, so I signal my buddy to turn around. And this type of reel I'm not terribly excited about. There's other types of reels that offer a little more control of where the line is. But since I don't have my reel and I'm borrowing one, I can't really complain. The other challenge is as you are kicking away from the line, you are dragging this reel that offers a bit of resistance. However, when you're going back to the line, not only are you kicking, but you're also being pulled by this line. So I'm not quite sure of the speed in which I'm moving back, but I wanted to err on this side of being early to the line than late for dive planning purposes. And I am successful at shining the light directly into my dive buddy's face or setup as I'm going, so he shouldn't have any question as to where I am at. And as you can see from the computer, I've already racked up decompression obligations to the 9 meter mark, or 30 feet for a minute, and we're 13 minutes into the dive with a total time of 13 minutes time to surface. As you will soon find out, that number increases largely because I'm not paying as close of attention to the computer as I should. There's some things that went on in the dive that will make it kind of a distracting ascent. And one of the first mistakes that I make, or things I could have done better, is coming up here. So I get to the line and I need to unhook it, uncouple it from the shot line. So I first lock the reel so it won't unspin as I or unravel as I unhook this. And this definitely can be done far more elegantly than what you're watching. Alright, so my first mistake is what I should do is unhook or unsecure the line and finish reeling in the line. I don't do that, and I leave it. And I signal to my dive buddy that let's deploy an SMB. I grab the bolt snap and go to clip the reel off, so I have some free hands. My dive buddy wants to deploy the SMB at 100 feet instead of at depth, which I'm fine with. So we start heading up to 33 meters. And at least at this time in the dive, I am trying to stay unattached to the shot line so that I am controlling my depth just in my gas volumes. And here we're at about 100 feet or 33 meters. And I'm not sure why, but I get up here, and then before I know it, I am going back down. Now in my CCR setup, I'm diving the Choptima at this time, and I have a manual add valve for my diluent. So as I go down, if I need more gas, I have to manually inject diluent into my loop. And so here I am at 33, 31 meters right now, and I am going to set up my DSMB to be deployed. And I'm taking my time doing it. I definitely can practice and make this better. The first thing I should have done is taken the reel line out and looped it around the DSMB. What I end up doing is unrolling the DSMB and still not having the reel line looped around the DSMB yet. For me, that logical thinking didn't happen. But also, if you look at the dive log, I am descending again. I'm now at 37 meters, and I continue to go down, which I shouldn't be. And the DSMB is all over in front of me, and I have a low pressure hose that's attached to my 50% bottle, but I had simply charged it. It wasn't actually active, and so when I go to inflate it, I go press the try to inject it, and nothing happens. And here you'll notice that I'm already at 42 meters, 41.7 meters. And it still hasn't made sense to me that I need to actually get the line out from the reel. I go up a little bit. So trying to think of why I didn't, why there wasn't any gas in that 50% line. And as you can tell, my original reel that I used to go out is dangling below me. So that could have been definitely cleaner. And coming up shortly, I will realize that I've gone too far down. Below me, you can see my dive buddy's light, so he's come down to check and find out how I'm doing. And shortly we'll see the anchor line and the anchor chain. And for me, even though the loop volume has decreased and my computer is telling me I'm at 44 meters, it really doesn't click that I've gone down until I see the anchor chain, the anchor line turn to the anchor chain. And I'm like, oh shoot, man, I've gone down. I need to go back up. We're supposed to be at 100 feet or 33 meters. So I start heading back up. And there's my dive buddy checking on me, whether to make sure that I'm still around, getting stuff done. And you notice that he hasn't deployed his DSMB yet either. And similar to me, it's all over him. And he has one of those reels that you can help reel and manage the line at the same time, which I'm somewhat jealous of. So I get to about 100 feet, and I'm going to start working on deploying my DSMB again. Now that I'm there, I start to get things set up again. I realize I need to get the line out and need to unlock it first. And this is where I should have looped it around instead of just hooked it onto the bolt snap. And in doing so, I brought out a bunch of extra line that I shouldn't be bringing out. Should be tight. But at this point, we'd been down for significantly longer than I was hoping to. I mean, we're still within 20 minutes, so that's what our dive plan said. And it looks like my dive buddy has released his DSMB. And coming up, I have set my computer to automatically change from high to low if I go below 3, if I go shallower than 3 meters or at 3 meters. And a issue with the Nerd is it will occasionally reset its depth, which is coming up here in a second. By doing that, it will automatically change the set point from 1.3 to 0.7. So as I'm messing with this line that's now getting tangled in all sorts of ways, shining my light directly into my dive buddy's eyes, you'll notice that in the right about now, you'll watch the depth and it will go to 0, reset the PO2 level, and then come back down. As such, if you watch my computer, the oxygen level will start to decrease as I start breathing out. I just close the loop and put gas into my DSMB and have some extra untangling to do. And then I notice my dive buddy is actually complaining that his line is in from his caught in his nerd, and so I see that that's a huge problem. So I grab it and pull it down so that it won't rip the loop out of his mouth, which would cause flooding and cause significant problems. So I hold it, and again my DSMB is partially deployed, but I reach down and pull his loop so that I can take the pressure off and unwind it from his computer. And it looks like I got it done. So his DSMB is now unattached from his computer, but in the mix-up, two things have happened. My reel has become loose and my PO2 has dropped. And so as you will watch, you'll see my deco stop time will continue to increase even though I'm getting shallower. So I get this all untangled. I still don't take the bolt snap out, but also you'll notice in the background we are currently in a bait ball. Fish all over, a big huge school of fish. So I finally get it deployed, get my DSMB deployed, and it's time to start going up. For a majority of this dive, do not notice that my PO2 has changed from 1.3 to 0.7. So I'm still racking up decompression obligations. You'll notice that I'm at 9. My first deco stop is at 9 meters for 3 minutes. And you'll notice that my dive buddy, even though he did deploy his DSMB, he no longer has it. I don't remember if I noticed it while I was diving, but now that I'm watching the video now, I definitely see it. So sometime in that big mix of me deploying my DSMB, he lost his. He is currently getting his backup DSMB, and I still don't notice that my PO2 is far below what it should be, 1.3. This is going to come back to haunt me, or I'm going to end up paying the price for it in a little bit, and I'll point that out. So I'm just going to wait here and wait for him to deploy his other DSMB. I didn't know that he had another DSMB. I was just waiting for him if he was going to go up, since I didn't see that his DSMB that I helped him get untangled from. But now you can see that he has another spool and another surface marker buoy. I really should have taken that bolt snap off, so I'm just dealing with the reel and not with this dangling bolt snap. And he is slowly unrolling his DSMB, and I will start to go up a little bit to keep the same depth as him. I can't remember if the camera is pointing down, but I'm pretty sure that I would have been looking up at him or looking across from him. So I'm not quite sure why he's always just out of visibility range. So it's awfully nice to do a stop with a DSMB line to keep you at the proper depth. But as I'm staying the same depth, he appears to be dropping. And with the rebreather, if you have to orally inflate your DSMB, it's really easy to lose loop volume, and as you can tell, it wasn't just air going from his loop into the DSMB. There's a lot of gas that escaped, so you'll see him drop considerably, but I wanted to keep my light on him to say, hey, I'm up here. I didn't really want to go down because, as you can tell, I'm still racking up decompression obligations. And unlike me, he is running his PO2 at a higher, at 1.3, so he isn't racking up the obligations that I am. Just a lot of gas that was released during this process for him. And if I was perfect, I would complain, but I'm just grateful that he's back at the same depth that I am. Again, about 20 meters or about 60 feet. And not sure what he's doing, but I'll follow him up. And with that DSMB kind of wrapped around his tank, it's going to be a little hard to deploy, but he's still going up, so I'm going to follow him. Obviously venting as I'm going up, and I should have kept that line a little more taut. And as you can tell from the color of the video, it is getting shallower. We're now at 12.5 meters. So about 36 feet. Still not quite sure what is happening, why the DSMB has not been deployed yet, but I'm happy to wait there. As you'll notice, I've been going up and taking my time, but my TTS hasn't really improved or gone down. And that is, again, because I'm flying at 0.7 instead of 1.3. I think I've said it before, but I really enjoy doing a decompression stop on the DSMB line. Stay pretty steady without having to hold on to the anchor line or the shot line that moves up and down with the boat up above. So it's nice. And I think by now that my dive buddy has got his DSMB deployed. Yes, he has. And I missed that deployment with my camera pointing down, I guess. And so as you notice, I've cleared my 30-foot decompression stop, and now I'm at my 20-foot decompression stop, or my 6-meter decompression stop. I've got 24 minutes. My computer is set to have the last stop be at 6 meters. So I have a lot of time until I clear my decompression obligation running at 0.7. So I start to go up to 6 meters, going up, trying to go up slowly. And so I'm here, but I still haven't noticed that I'm running at 0.7 instead of 1.3. So I am now getting to pay the price of not keeping my eye on the computer. I actually went into the settings and changed the computer to not automatically change the set point from high to low at 3 meters. I figured if I have a decompression stop, I'm going to stop at 6 meters. And once I clear that, then I can manually go and change the set point to 0.7, so that if the computer does think that I'm going back up to the surface and immediately back down, it keeps the set point still at 1.3. So I made this setting change after I looked at the log after this dive and realized what happened. And so I'm not sure if the computer had done it any time after this, but the set point didn't change. I kind of wish that the rest of this dive was uneventful. However, I was still successful at making some mistakes in this dive. Even though I have 21 minutes of deco at 6 meters, one thing that we had discussed is the ability to switch your closed circuit gases from 1839 to another gas, and I have a low pressure hose attached to my 50% bottle. And so I decide that I want to try switching my gases from the 1839 to the 50%. That's coming up, but I first assume that he has probably 20 minutes of decompression like me. So shortly I will ask him what his decompression obligations are. And as you can tell from the dive log, we're 2/3 of the way through the dive. I still have 21 minutes of decompressing. Looks like he's just chilling out now. I think I go down a little bit to meet him. And are you okay? And he thinks my okay signal is how much decompression obligations. And he says he has 5 minutes. And I say I've got 18. Which is disappointing. So he's got 5 minutes left to deco, and I've got 18, while I'm still flying at 0.7 instead of bumping it up to 1.3. And here's where I have the brilliant idea to switch gases from 1839 to 50%. The challenge is I have my 50% bottle on my right-hand side, and in the Choptima, the diluent feed is on the left-hand side. So I grab my low-pressure hose from the 50% bottle, reach to the left, and unhook my diluent of 1839 from my Choptima. Now that it's unhooked, I then drag that hose across, and I'm trying to hook it in to the manual add valve. I try to do this. Now, how it's normally set up is I tow my 100% bottle behind me. Because the manual add valve is on the left-hand side, I want that clear, so I'm not fighting against the tank as I'm going down. And I am holding the reel and trying to hook the hose up at the same time, thinking I'm kind of in a bad situation because if I go down, I have no way to inject additional gas into my loop. And so you'll notice that I'm holding onto the line because I don't want to go down for for any reason, while I try to attach this low pressure hose from the 50% bottle. Eventually I give up and I ask my dive buddy to reattach the 1839 feed. He hands me his reel, and then tries to do it one-handed and says, "Screw that, Eric, hold my reel." So I finally get the note, and he reattaches. And I know that I've said this once or twice before, but I still haven't changed the set point back to 1.3. So I'm not eating away at my decompression obligations as much as I could. So he was successful in reattaching my 1839 into my loop. And I've gone past my 6 meter stop, so I go back down to 6 meters. Now that I have gas to handle the collapsing of the loop volume, I'm happy to go back down. And pretty soon I will ask about my dive buddy's deco obligations. His backup spool, not as elegant as the one that he had. I guess he had released it and it floated right by the boat. So they were able to retrieve the DSMB, and I ask, are you cleared from your computer? He doesn't know what I mean, so he points and he says he's got 3 minutes left in his decompression obligation. I don't know if he has set to be 20 feet for his last decompression stop or if it's actually a 10. But for me, my last stop is at 20 feet. And to me, it looks like the reel had gone up and got caught in my backup computer. The line. But it looks like I actually did see the computer and change the set point to 1.3, because as you can see on the computer, on the computer readout, I'm well above 0.7 or 0.4 or 0.5, whatever the computer was reading before. So now I'm going to start hopefully decreasing the time I have to wait before I can surface. But as you can see in that purple dive log, it once again thinks that I went to the surface immediately. So this happened twice in this dive. Watching that bolt snap on the reel dangle there is bugging me. So it'll be the last time that happens. As soon as I get everything out and the reel properly connected to the surface marker buoy, that bolt snap is getting snapped back to me. Now we have 9 more minutes left in this dive, at least according to the computer. I can't imagine what the surface crew was thinking as they saw one DSMB get deployed, and then mine, and then after quite a long time, another DSMB. Me, I'm signaling, "Hey, are you clear with your deco?" And go ahead and go up. He almost lost his reel, almost dropped the reel. And I tell him I've got 7 or 8 minutes. And I tell him he can go up. He's going to say no. I was like, that's fine. But I'm tired of holding on to the anchor line, the shot line, and we'll go off and just hold on to my DSMB. When he sees that I'm just going off and going to hang there, I think he gets the idea that he'd be okay to go ahead and surface because he's cleared his decompression stop. And I'm mistaken. And if you're watching this, you definitely can just fast forward it on to a more exciting part. There's not really a whole lot that happens between now and the end of the dive. You will notice that it does think that I switch back to, or I immediately surface and come right back down, which changes the set point back to 0.7. But by that time, I'm on my way up. But the nice part is keeping my depth right at 6 meters. It's pretty easy. Holding the DSMB line. And I don't think that I locked my reel. I think I'm just holding it tight so it won't spin. As you can see from my hand going up and down, the shot line is moving considerably, but on my right side, holding the DSMB line, it keeps me pretty steady at 6.7, 6.8 meters, or 6.5 meters according to the camera. And so I'm just waiting for my decompression to be over. And for no reason at all, you'll notice that the depth drops to 0 and then back down to 6.7 or 6.8 here in just a second. I'm not sure if the telemetry app will show that red dot jumping up and jumping back down. We'll see. There we are, 0. And back to 6.7. But you'll notice also my time is 1 minute. And as I breathe my PO2 down to 0.7, it takes longer than a minute to do that. And so I'll start moving up, which will also decrease my PO2. The PO2 is dropping pretty slowly. But it is decreasing. And you'll notice that the bait ball is back swimming amongst us, amongst me. Visibility isn't great, but it's pretty cool to see a large school of fish swarming around me. And I've cleared my deco stop, so let's unlock the reel and go up. And previous class, one of the times coming up, I shot up from 20 feet and got somewhat of a browbeating for that. So I now make it a point to, when I'm at depth, I go really slow. But as you can tell, I'm looking and seeing that my dive buddy's DSMB line is still deployed, so I didn't see him, but wanted to make sure that he knew that I am going up. So I grab it and kind of jerk on it to say, hey, I'm up. I'm pretty shallow now and don't really want to go back down. So I decide that if he's down there, he can come back. He can come up on his own. But yes, taking my time getting up, going slow. And the black ball, which indicates the end of the reel. Lock it in place so I don't lose it. at the surface, and looking out, I see two people in the boat, so I am the last one in the water. Awesome. Thank you.